Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our live feed update for August 19th. I'm your host, Armstrong, and I'm here today to update you on everything that happened yesterday. The Big Brother 27 live feeds. It was day 42 in the house. And we had a veto ceremony. We had quite the renom and a lot of fallout from the decision that was made. So we're going to talk about it all. And with me to talk about it all is Matt. How you doing, Matt?
Oh, so good. Just as the rest of the season, everybody is playing optimally, acting rationally, and entertaining every step of the way, except for the times where it's more frustrating. But we're getting through it here. Day, what'd you say, 42? It's getting close to the halfway point.
I think we're about there. Yeah, I think we're about at the halfway point here. So let's get into it. Of course, Rachel, Rylie, the HOH nominated Mickey, Morgan, and Vince for eviction. Lauren won the veto and has been back and forth about whether or not she wants to use it. So in the morning here, the morning of the veto ceremony, she's still back and forth. The main reason being that Catherine has talked to her again. Catherine has consistently been one of the people trying to convince her not to use the veto. And she again is pushing Lauren to not use the veto in the morning here and seems to be making some progress because Lauren really is pretty tenuous in either direction, both directions. And so again, Catherine is saying like, don't do this. We want to make sure that we get Mickey out. It's, especially if you don't know who the renom is for sure. Like, there's just a bunch of reasons to not do this. And again, she seems to be making some progress until Rylie walks in and just you should just use it.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Why not? Kat clearly seeing a little bit more as to what problems could arise if this veto gets used. There's a lot of uncertainty in the air, and maybe Rachel is, pro showmance and she's going to hammer that home until the cows come home. But until she's not, and we're going to clearly see that there could be a point that she's not anymore. And there's not really a big benefit for Kat and Rylie to have Vince come down and open up a spot for somebody else to be put in danger. So yeah, Kat sees that pretty clearly. Rylie, not seeing something clearly, I'm so surprised. Tough way to start the day, as Lauren, who is consistently somebody who struggles to make decisions, has a very big one to make here today. And in the matter of one showman's conversation, still can't get any help. One person says no, one person says yes.
Rylie, again, completely undermining everything Catherine is trying to do here. And in this case, to his own detriment. Lauren then basically decides, all right, I need to go talk to Rachel. So she goes upstairs. And again, it's fairly early morning, but it's a fairly early veto ceremony. And she says, Rachel, so I've been thinking about the veto, and she's just like, yeah, so what's going on? What's going on? I'm leaning toward using it. She's like, okay, I mean, kind of sucks that you're telling me now when there's like less than an hour before the ceremony. I don't really have time to talk to people. Oh, I know. Oh, I don't know, Rachel. I don't know. Like what's going on? Why are you feeling like this? I just, I am worried like about, like who is the replacement nominee? Well, if you think this is good, if you think it's Kelly, it's not. I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Kelly. Listen, Lauren, I really want to work with you. I really do. I really want to work with you. So I would love for us to be on the same page here and work together moving forward. I am a very loyal ally. You can beat me in the final two. So on and so forth. Lauren's like, I don't know. Why is every decision so hard? It doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be.
Is Lauren genuinely the number one most fearful player we've seen in this house? Like,
And
afraid of making decisions?
absolutely, not even close.
Yeah, I can't even think of a close second. It's not just, oh, she's afraid of Rachel, she's afraid of this person, she's afraid of that person, which has been the case all season, but just afraid of locking in a decision. I mean, as has been discussed over, the past couple of podcasts since this decision's been made, and just everything, it would have been such a different story here if she came into this with any type of confidence, any type of conviction in her own decision that she knew she wanted to make at this point, and just say, Rachel, I'm sorry, I'm using it if this isn't exactly what you wanted, and just kind of get into the conversation a little bit, maybe lead the conversation a little bit. But as is the case with just about every conversation that Lauren has, that's not with Vince, even though with Kat to an extent, it's just very quiet as you're reenacting, very kind of not giving a whole lot because she doesn't know what to say. She's just afraid. It's so wild to see a player so afraid. I feel like a lot of us that would never go play Big Brother, like, I know my downfalls and why I would not do well in a game like this and why I would never sign up for it. I just can't imagine how Lauren, before she went into the house, didn't say to herself, yeah, I'm going to be too afraid to play this game. Like, every aspect of it. HOH, I'm afraid of it. Talking to people, I'm afraid of doing so. Using a veto, I'm afraid of it. Like, but she went for it, and we get to watch it.
Yes. So Rachel eventually has to be like, listen, Lauren, why don't you just start doing your makeup now, and we'll keep talking because we need to be getting ready for the ceremony. She's like, oh yeah, okay. I'm just not sure. Oh, it's such a hard decision. And they keep talking for a while. And Rachel's like, listen, Lauren, I'm gonna have to think through all my options on the renom. And it might be somebody you're close to. So just make sure you're considering that. She's like, oh yeah. Oh, I need to get my moisturizer. It's downstairs. And Rachel's like, oh no, I think I've got some up here. Don't worry. No, I'll be right back. I'll be right.
Lost Taran. Did you find your moisturizer? Can you hear me? I don't think you can hear me. Did you find your moisturizer?
She runs out of that room.
Yeah.
And downstairs to find Vince talking to Morgan. Vince, I don't know what to do right now. I don't know what to do. I'm talking to her right now, and I don't know. And Morgan's like, I'll let you guys talk.
This feels like a horror movie. She's coming after me.
She can't find us talking together. Like, oh, I can't be here long. He's like, well, what's going on? What's going on? She's saying she's like maybe gonna put up like not Kelly, like maybe somebody like Rylie, or I don't know. Bullshit. I call bullshit. She's bluffing. She's using fear tactics on you. Yeah. No, I'm using it. Yeah, I'm not gonna let that work. And then she's like, but I don't know. I don't know, Vince. And he's trying to talk to her. And she's like, she's coming. No, we can't be caught. She runs out of the room. Rachel wasn't coming yet, but
no.
She eventually does come down to find Lauren in the bathroom still getting the moisturizer after minutes. Like, oh, hey, I'm just grabbing some deodorant. Lauren's like, I'm coming right up. And she sprints up the stairs. Rachel follows her. They meet in the HOH room, and Lauren's like, okay. Rachel's like, so what are you thinking? Okay.
I love watching how you put on your moisturizer.
Okay. It's not just it's makeup too. It's
right.
Okay. I'm going to tell you this. You're not going to believe me. You're going to think I'm exaggerating. This lasts at least 5 minutes. Okay. And Rachel is standing there,
Staring.
right next to her, just staring. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, if laser beams were coming out of her eyes, Lauren's on the ground.
Okay. After 5 minutes of this, so I think I'm using it. Rachel, I think that's a mistake. I don't think I can work with you, Feeds Cut.
Cinema. Rachel stares at the back of Lauren's head. Truly, it's as if there is a weapon involved, as if like something is being held up to Lauren. And if Lauren turns around and gives the wrong answer, Lauren feels like her life will come to an end. And that's the power of Rachel Rylie. Let's just say that right here, that she has this power. That's what makes her reality TV gold. Watching this from, analyzing her game perspective is a little bit of a different story. I know it's also, been talked about on the roundtable and whatnot, of just the circles that this conversation went in were very similar to the conversations that Rachel was having with Lauren on Lauren's HOH week of like, we can work together. I know that you're a big fan. I know you respect my game. I could be your big sister in here. I have so much confidence in you, and you should feel so great about the way you're playing the game. And I want to work with you, and I want to work with Vince. Imagine that. Imagine believing that for a half a second, that Rachel wants to work with Vince. But she mentions it in the pitch here. She's doing everything she can with these last minute just. I don't even think necessarily she's trying to be intimidating. I think she's just so focused, and Lauren is so afraid that it's coming across that way. And it is just, if they edit this right, this will be an all-time moment on the episode.
Yeah. Will they, though?
No, but if they do.
So the feeds go down for the veto. When they come back up, we find that Lauren has in fact used the veto on Vince, and in Vince's place, Rylie has been nominated, and the house is in turmoil.
Yeah.
Everybody's pissed.
Yeah, I feel like she started to give some indication, right, the night before, I guess in the conversation with Keanu, that it wasn't going to be who maybe you would have expected. And then like they go through all the names and it's like Rylie, and she said no, but it felt like you could read
She
through the leaves
basically
there.
told him it would be Rylie, and then was implying that she was joking. Then she basically told Ashley that it might be Rylie as well. It was pretty clear that she was leaning in this direction. This also tracks with how she spoke to Ashley on the first night of her HOH, where she talked about the showmance being a problem. But we still didn't know that she would fully do this, because here's the thing. Here's why you might suspect she might not do this. She doesn't have the votes to take Rylie out. You usually don't nominate someone if you don't have the votes. And that's something that I think Rachel quickly realized after nominating him.
Yeah, I mean, when the first round of nominations went up, we saw the whole ordeal with Ashley reacting negatively, and a little bit of Will feeling like, oh, like, a little bit of heads up on these nominations would have been helpful. And so as we're going to come back from Rylie going on the block, we're going through this again, but instead of Ashley and Will this time, it's going to be Keanu and Kelly, which, as we'll get into, are just hysterical that some people are going to be reacting the way that they do, given it very easily could have been them. But look, at least Rachel has, smart, intelligent people to work with in this house that are always going to just trust her and support her decisions and not lose it. Thank goodness.
Yeah. So feeds come back. Rylie is like, oh, what? It's like, oh, yeah, maybe, I don't know, Rylie, you shouldn't have encouraged her to use the veto. I don't know. It's just a thought. Keanu is pissed. What? I just don't understand why she would do this. Vince is just acting pissed because it's Vince. Yeah, this doesn't make any sense. Why would she do this? And Lauren is like, I didn't know this would happen. And Vince is going around holding meetings like, yeah, she's going to try to pretend like we knew this was going to happen, but we did not know this was going to happen. If we knew this was going to happen, I would have stayed on the block happily.
Oh, he was on one yesterday. He came off that block and he was ready to. He was just like overjoyed. And how could you not be when your game is saved? You don't have to go through 3 days of campaigning. But every conversation that Vince is involved in throughout the day, you can tell that he has like this smile tattooed to his face that he has to kind of bring down a little bit so he can still talk to people rationally. Oh, but he is over the moon that this went the way that it did. Obviously, he's off the block, but he can't hide it.
Yes. And Kelly is pissed. I could have gone on the block. Why him and not me? And so again, the house is in turmoil. And pretty quickly, Keanu's gonna pull Rachel aside and just be like, Rachel, why did you do that? She's like, honestly, I think I told Lauren to F around and find out. And I'm here to play Big Brother. You know? He's like, but Rachel, why you don't have the votes to get him out? It's not the right time to take the shot at Rylie. She's like, Keanu, it's never too early to make a big move in Big Brother. Like, no, but not this move. Rachel, we need to mend this. We need to fix this. Like, you need to talk to Rylie. And she's like, I don't want him here. I think he should leave. You can't beat him in a competition. We will lose this game to Rylie. And he's like, but it's not this, not right now. Rachel, why? She's like, I told you. Rylie came to me and told me he's not with you and is targeting you. Rachel, I believe that you believe that, but you have to understand people lie in this game. She's like, yeah, exactly. No, like he doesn't trust you. He's not going to tell you that he's with me. He's going to lie and say he's not. Okay, so he doesn't trust me. That means he should be on the block even more. Like, oh, Rachel, like why you need to prove to him that he can trust you. Doing what? I've been trying to work with him for 5 weeks. Oh my God. Rachel, I feel like you're not listening to me.
I can't believe Keanu, of all people, is the one who really had the game the most mapped out in his mind of the finishing placements of everybody. So many people have been making their juries and saying who I want deep into the game. Keanu firmly had Rylie in like his 5th or 4th or 3rd place eviction. He says that later in the day, that that's where he thought that if we were going to get rid of Rylie, we would get rid of him then. So in his mind, and it's obviously so frustrating for us to watch, that in his mind, he saw Rylie with them throughout the entire game. And the idea that could not be the case, that there's any world that he gets evicted here before we even get to jury, it's so early in the game. It's sending him into this spiral that I mean, we've seen a lot of bad reads from Keanu. We've seen a lot of confusing decision making from Keanu. This, I feel like for me at least, day 42 was the most confused I've been as to what is going through this man's head, because it's not just like, questioning Rachel, like, okay, you're allowed to question her, but just coming down so hard on her for saying that she made the complete wrong decision. How could she ever possibly do this? And even when she starts to try to explain it a little bit, it's not even slightly going through one ear and out the other. It's not going through one ear. It's just hitting a brick wall in that is named Keanu, his head, and it's not even beginning to get processed for him to then try to say, okay, well, this is where we are at this point. I have to work with this. I have to figure it out. Okay, yeah, if you want to make things right with the house, with Rachel, try to do that. Be subtle about it. Subtle is not in Keanu's vocabulary, and it's just a train wreck to watch these two converse all day.
The thing you have to understand about Keanu's reaction to this is that you have to venture into the land that is his mind. And in his mind, Rachel doing this is akin to Mickey targeting Jimmy, and he is the Rachel. And in his mind, he is the Rachel who is apparently the only person, or not in this case, but he is the one saying to the Mickey, Jimmy was with us, you idiot. Why are you doing this? You are targeting our own allies and making a huge problem for my game. You did this without consulting me. This is a huge problem. And the Mickey is saying, no, you don't understand. Jimmy was lying to us. He was always against us. He was against you, Rachel. And he's being like, no, you're wrong. I know Rylie. I know Jimmy. Jimmy was not doing that. And so in his mind, he is in that position. Now, this is the thing. Of course, we all know this. Rylie is not Jimmy. Mickey is not Rachel. And Keanu is not Rachel. Keanu's wrong. Rachel is right in this instance. Rylie does not even like Keanu. He has ranted and raved about Keanu from day one. He has been talking about taking Keanu out from day one. He has talked about taking Keanu out of this game. He does not trust Keanu. He did have that conversation. But Keanu fully and firmly believes that Rylie is one of his best friends in the game and that he can firmly trust him. And so he is now in this situation where his other best friend in the house, Rachel Rylie, just nominated his other best friend because she doesn't trust, she doesn't see what he does, which is that Rylie is on their side. And now he's putting him in a position where he has to choose. He has to either support Rachel by taking out Rylie or go against Rachel by siding with Rylie. And none of this should be happening in the first place because they should all be working together because Rylie is on their side. And he's just wrong, but he really believes he's right.
He says, Rachel, you're supposed to be the vet. You should know. It's too early to make this big of a move. It's just every further thing that came out of Keanu's mouth, you can see within Rachel, she doesn't know whether to laugh in his face or fight back the urge to yell at him and tell him how stupid he sounds, because both would be valid responses, but instead she just kind of keeps it under control, trying to feed him some rational responses, talking about, yeah, Rylie has told me he's coming after you. But again, none of this is computing.
I think another thing, and this is more speculation, I would say, on my part, but the thing I very much read on Rachel, and I think the thing to understand about her response in these conversations, is that I think Rachel is really hurt by Keanu's response. I think she understands game-wise why he's responding the way he does because he believes what he does, but I think she's really hurt by the fact that he doesn't believe her. And just refuses to believe her. And she's not really trying that hard to convince him because she's at the point, because again, I've talked about this the last few days. They really, really were bonding and enjoying spending time together. Rachel was like, hey, don't leave yet. We should spend more time together and hang out because she really likes Keanu. And the fact that he is this upset because he doesn't believe her and believes Rylie instead is getting her to the point where she's like, I don't know what to tell you, Keanu. Like, I told you my reason. If you don't believe me, if you don't trust me, whatever. Like, she's like, that's not a game move. That's just her being hurt and protecting her feelings, right? And so they're doing this, they're going back and forth, and Keanu is trying to, like, in his mind, break through to her. Like, you have to see what I'm seeing. Rachel, like, nobody's going to understand this. You need to come up with some kind of reason for why you did that. Like, you don't like, everyone sees you as this like manipulative vet who's won the game. They don't see you like I see you. They don't know you like I know you. And it's like, this is right. He has spent this time with her, and he does seem to believe that she believes what she's saying, but he just thinks that she's the delusional one and that she's wrong. He cannot comprehend that she's been right the whole time. And so He's like, listen, I think what we need to do is we need to say that the only reason you nominated Rylie was because you couldn't trust Vince to vote Mickey out, and Rylie was the only person you knew that Vince wouldn't vote out. And so we'll say that that's the reason, and we'll try to mend this fence with Rylie because Rylie is not leaving. I'm not voting him out. I mean, I think we need to say this. And listen, I'll look into it. And if I feel like maybe you were right and Rylie really was against me, I can always change my mind and I can vote him out.
The part of it that gets even, yeah, right. The part of it that gets even more frustrating, and I know this is kind of later in the day, but just Rachel's not going to be able to crack through this at whatsoever with Keanu at any point during the day. And when he starts a little bit later to mix in the whole, I believe that you believe this, but I don't think that's what really happened. It's starting to get like disrespectful and like you're insulting her intelligence because he is firmly not believing that Rylie would ever come after him as we're covering here. But he wants to make it so clear to Rachel that he still has faith in her and he doesn't think she's lying to him. So he says, I believe that you believe it, but I think you might have been mishearing some of this stuff. And just the way that he words all of these, like trying to say the right thing to her, but it's absolutely off track. And it's just making her genuinely more upset, which leads into, I think, more of what you're saying of she's just upset. She's hurt about the fact that he's not trusting her at all. It's impossible.
Well, he's saying all of the things that he is. Like I believe that you believe it. I think that you misunderstand things sometimes. I think that you have a view of the game that is, that is one way, and you refuse to believe anything else. And he's talking about himself because, again, their realities are incompatible. One of them has to be either lying or absolutely delusional. And in his mind, it cannot be. He knows he's not lying, and he cannot fathom that he is the person that is delusional. And so it has to be Rachel that is delusional. And so in the kindest and yet most, sort of like insulting way possible, he is saying, Rachel, I think you just might be delusional, because he just, I guess, that's part of what being delusional is that you can't fathom that you're the one that's being delusional. So this is the game plan. He's going to help her repair the fence, mend the fence with Rylie by saying that this wasn't a targeted attack on Rylie. It was just as a pawn because she knows that Rylie would be safe. She couldn't trust Vince's vote without Rylie on the block. That's the game plan. He goes down and starts spreading that. And again, like, he's not saying, hey, I talked to Rachel and we came up with a game plan to lie and say that this is the story. He's saying the story to people like Vince, to people like Kelly, to people like whoever, right? He genuinely wants to make this work. He genuinely wants to repair this with Rylie and Rachel because he wants his allies to work together. But while he's doing this, Rachel pulls Kelly up and says, hey, Kelly, I hope you know I did this for you. Everyone wanted you up, but I didn't want to put you up because I really want to work with you. And Kelly is like, It's like, you heard me, right? Like, everyone wanted you, but I want to work with you, Kelly. I like you and I trust you and I want to work with you. Yeah, sorry. It's just still pretty fresh. The me not going on the block thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just processing that I'm safe this week.
Bad vibes. Rachel doesn't quite take the hint, though. She sits her down and explains, Rylie needs to go, Kelly. Who Rylie will win this game if we don't take him out of this game. Mickey will win this game if we don't take her out of this game. One of them must go. We have to take Rylie out. You have to be with me on this. And Kelly basically is like, I'm not voting out Rylie. It's like, Kelly. She goes on to explain, Lauren knew that Rylie was going to go up and still chose to use the veto on Vince anyway. That's how close they apparently are. And I'm telling you, Rylie needs to go. She's trying to convince Kelly. Kelly's not giving her an ounce. Like, again, the vibes are awful. Rachel needs to stop talking to Kelly.
I mean, the craziest part of all of this, obviously, is that Kelly was just saved from going on the block. Like, You would think by the way that this is happening that Kelly was the one that was put on the block, and Rachel's now trying to calm her down or comfort her after all of this, apologize. We all know that's not the case. Kelly is safe, but she's upset with this decision just as much as Keanu is, that Rylie was selected to go up. As I think you already mentioned, feeling like I would have gone up if it was going to have to be Rylie. Like, why not just put me up there? I'll go up and I'll win the blockbuster. That's like the wild part in the first place. But just the way that this conversation plays out, it feels like I'm watching a sitcom of like the mom and the teenage daughter that's just mad at her about something. And again, there's no reason for the teenage daughter to be mad here. And the mom is just like trying to be like,
she's in love with the bad boy, and the mom is trying to tell her that the bad boy is no good.
yeah, well, sure. And saying, look, I'm just looking out for you and your best interests. And I just, I know that this makes sense for you, and I want to support you, and I want to be there for you. And Kelly is just sitting there like pouting and looking off to the side and looking up at the TV, and just like not wanting to talk to her mom at this moment. And then of course we're going to see it's going to go off and just go ranting about how much her mom is the worst, and close the door, slam the door. It's just like it makes no sense in general within the confines of this game for Kelly to be acting this way towards Rachel, even though she has been all season. But especially in this moment, you would have been on the block in danger of going home, and now you are as angry as Keanu, but showing it in a different way. And
I would say far angrier than Keanu.
Just to watch these reactions from two people who Lauren thought, right, that maybe Lauren, Vince, whoever thought that there could have been a world where these people were put on the block instead of who ultimately goes on the block, Rylie. Much more Kelly than Keanu, thinking that would have been a possibility. And Kelly, even aware of that possibility, is upset, pissed off, because she is not on the block and Rylie instead is. We've talked a lot, I'm sure, over, we all have, how it seems like Rylie, you could write him the check right now because everybody in that house loves him, despite what we're seeing online, watching the feeds. Everyone loves him. And there's like no better example than this day and some of these reactions of how these people feel about him.
I mean, the thing you have to remember about Kelly as well is that in her mind, I think like the way that she plays the game is that she is just going to sort of like idolize one person, probably a man. And that was Vince for a while until he let her down in the Adrian vote. And then Rylie was the only other person that didn't let her down in the Adrian vote. And so Rylie from that point forward became her god. Like everything was based around Rylie. And so and the other side of that is that she has hated Rachel from day one. And so of course this is like the most mad Kelly has been in the game, because the person that she hates the most, Rachel, has targeted her god Rylie. And so that's where she's at. So she runs downstairs after this conversation, not even pretending to Rachel like she's happy at all, and immediately spills everything to Lauren. And basically is like, hey, obviously you didn't know that Rylie would go up on the block, Lauren, right? Lauren's like, she basically like doesn't even really deny it, but like yeah, no, I didn't think so. She thinks I'm stupid. She thinks I'm gonna believe that you knew Rylie would go up on the block. Oh my god, she's crazy. She's trying to tell me that Riley's the target, that if we don't vote out Rylie now, he's gonna win the game. Oh my god. And just goes on and on and on. It talks to Lauren, talks to Catherine, talks to Rylie, talks to Vince, spilling the whole thing, everything that Rachel said to her. In the meantime, Keanu's like, oh, crap, I didn't realize that Rachel was talking to Kelly. Keanu runs in. Hey, Kelly, what did Rachel tell you? That Riley's the target and that Lauren knew that Rylie was going to go up, but obviously that's a lie. Oh my, you told Lauren this already? Yep. No. Oh, Kelly, why? Why not? We need to be. We're supposed to be saying that Rachel did it as a pawn, but that's not what she said. But no, but we need to try to repair this. Oh, Kelly, why are you doing this? And he's just losing it.
It is to an extent compelling for me, at least, to see like that we have found the worst players we could ever find in and throw them in a Big Brother house and just see how they interact with one another. Like this conversation being a prime example. It's like both of you are so far off of what a good plan for you going forward would be, of what a good reaction to all of this would be. And now it's just like they're running into each other because they're just walking around completely clueless as to what to say, what to do. Again, like we could not imagine worse reactions, worse players in moments like this. And so it's almost, as much as it's very annoying for me to see how this is going, especially for Rachel in the HOH room, like as you know, has been a well-documented arc of all of this. She's got no good allies, but just to see people at this low level of gameplay, it's astonishing.
I mean, I've said it before. I'll say it again. This is easily the worst strategic cast in the history of the show. I don't think it's close, and I genuinely don't think there's anything that we can see in the next half of this season that will convince me otherwise. This has been an atrocious season of gameplay, and you know, it just is what it is at this point.
We keep getting, like,
Kelly
slapped
does
around with
pitch.
this, yeah.
Kelly does pitch an alliance to Lauren of herself, Lauren, Vince, Catherine, and Rylie, which is basically the alliance that Lauren wants, just including Kelly when she didn't really necessarily want to include Kelly. Kelly wants to exclude Keanu from this alliance, of course, because she doesn't trust Keanu and doesn't like Keanu, another person that he doesn't realize doesn't like him. And Kelly also mentions to Lauren, yeah, I just really hope Keanu doesn't turn and flip and then we lose Rylie. And you can see in that moment Lauren going, oh, wait, if Keanu flips, we don't have the votes. And she starts panicking. She goes to Vince, oh my God, I will die if Rylie leaves because of me. Oh my God, we can't have Keanu flip. We can't have Keanu flip.
Meanwhile,
No,
meanwhile, Keanu is destroying his relationship with Rachel in order to make sure that Rylie doesn't go home this week. It's just, again, astonishing. The level of not just bad gameplay, but bad reads all around. Nobody has any clue which way is up, which way is down.
So they reiterate the importance of making sure that Keanu continues to be fooled into believing that they like him and want to work with him and not just target him, which they honestly don't have to do much work to do. No. But that's what they are doing now. Keanu then asks Rylie. He's doing his research, doing his due diligence. Hey, Rylie, you never said that you were going to come for me to Rachel, right? Rylie's like, no, never. I would never say that. Yeah, I didn't think so. And that was the research that Keanu did with Rylie.
End of story. So I almost, no, I'm not doing this. I was debating if I was going to give Rylie an ounce of credit for the way that he's able to have some of these conversations. Later he's going to have one with Rachel. Well, no, that's a whole different story. We'll get there. But just to like shut this down instantly, but that has nothing to do with Rylie. I can't give him that credit. It's everything to do with Keanu, and not even slightly pushing a little bit further. It's just Keanu wanted to hear the answer he wanted to hear. He heard that answer immediately and said, good enough. I'm done. I believe you. I trust you. Rachel must be out of her mind. She misheard you, and I need to go back up and make sure she knows that, because she is wrong. She made the wrong decision. She's making the wrong moves, and you would never go after me, Rylie. Never.
I mean, nothing is more damning to this cast's strategic ability than the fact that Rylie is as effective as he is in the game when I would say the vast majority of fans were like, this guy's sketchy from the minute they saw him in his interview. Like, yeah. Like that's just the reality of it. It's just the reality of it. The way that he interacts with people is constant red flags all the time. And the people in this house are not capable of seeing it. Keanu continues to talk with Rylie. Rylie basically being like, can I trust you, Keanu? Like, are you good? And Keanu's like, what do you mean? What do you mean, can you even trust me? He's like, well, I'm kind of irritated right now, Keanu, because you talk to Rachel all the time. And Keanu's like, I had nothing to do with this. I didn't know this was happening. I swear to you. Keanu now on the back foot, trying to defend himself because of his association with Rachel. So that, of course, makes him even more upset about the whole situation.
Right. And can you even imagine like what Keanu's been through this day to tell Rachel how he feels, and then to now be confronted with the idea that maybe he's too close to Rachel or something along those lines. I almost want to give them live feeds and say, watch this. And then they would still say, nope, that's wrong. That's not correct.
So speaking of terrible game players, Mickey, what is Mickey's response to this whole situation now that Riley's gone up on the block? Let's see. What is Mickey's response to this? Now, just a reminder, Rylie and Catherine have been ranting and raving about Mickey all week, saying that they want her to leave. The arguments pro and con for using the veto were we want to make sure that Mickey leaves this week. Mickey, having found out that Rylie has gone on the block, is pissed. Oh, freaking Rachel! Oh, putting up more of my numbers on the block. This is a spite attack at me. She's taking my numbers and putting them on the block. We need to find a way to keep Rylie so he can go after Rachel for us. Morgan? Just take a moment. Look at who's nominated. Think about the statement.
Mickey, Morgan, they've been on the block. They're still on the block. Now Rylie is on the block next to them. So Mickey wants to find a way to save Rylie, right? And so she's telling this to Morgan. Oh, well, this is obviously the classic week 5, week 6 twist where a fourth nominee is going to go up and of course, how could you forget?
Yeah. So Mickey's completely lost the plot, if you haven't noticed. It's been that way for a while, but it's even worse now. So that's what Mickey's basically up to for the rest. Listen, Mickey has become increasingly irrelevant in the game. Very few people trust her. Very few people even talk game with her at this point. And she continues to delusionally believe that she has any numbers, really. Yeah. Ava is pissed as well.
Rough day for Ava.
Ava's pissed at Vinny because after the veto ceremony, she's like, Vinny the Lip running around holding meetings with everyone. Frankly, I was about to pop off on the guy. I can't believe, like, running around like that. You just got off the block. What are you doing? I can't believe this guy. Will's like, oh, I'm really glad you didn't pop off on him. You know, it's a game decision to not. And I'm like, no, Will. Please. Ava needs to be more active. She needs to channel some of this energy into not ranting at you, but actually doing things in the game. Will, come on.
Yeah, no, this is really funny because we do see a lot of Vince after the veto ceremony, like I was talking about earlier, just like so happy, so, going to everybody, going to Rylie saying, dude, I'm not going to ever turn on you. You've got my back. I've got yours. I'm going to keep you in the game this week. And just talking to everybody about, I didn't even know for sure that Lauren was going to use the veto on me. She made a last minute call. She didn't know what was going to happen, but she just decided to do so. And Ava's talking to Will like, oh yeah, she just magically dropped this veto necklace around your neck and you had no idea that was coming. You had nothing to do with it. I'm so sure, Vince. She's livid, and I do wish, for the sake of entertainment, that this leaked a little bit outside of just this room. But watching her lose it a bit because of Vince, both of them are going to be in the game next week. I hope it can come into play with the fire still so bright here, still so lit.
She does talk to Rylie later and promises him her vote. She says that she did not want him on the block. This is not exactly, I would say, honest from her. She does like Rylie a lot, but has distanced herself. And, obviously she's, had a few different thoughts this week. But the point here is that in the conversation, Rylie mentioned that he was very confident he had Vinny's vote, which she talks to Will about after, saying, like, yeah, Rylie is like sure that he's got Vince's vote against Mickey and Morgan. Like against Morgan, he swears he had like he's like final two confident that he's got Vince's vote. So so Ava again very much on to what Vince is doing, but again it's like this is the like Ava has so much information sometimes she needs to be telling it to people who aren't Will, because Will doesn't do anything with anything ever. So she needs to tell other people so that they like she needs to be doing stuff, right? Like
I so can't disagree with you, but it's also I feel like we're aware of the people in this house that she would be telling that information to. And just like Rachel talking to Keanu, I feel like it wouldn't land with so many of them. And that's obviously
sure, but you need to be doing something.
I know it's worth
like,
it's worth a
she should have
shot.
been talking to Lauren about the veto more. She should have
Yes.
been like talking to Lauren. She should have been talking to Lauren about like she has a great connection to Lauren. If Ava had been talking to Lauren about Vince for the last few weeks, then maybe, you know, there's just a little bit of doubt that is planted into that. Like, and what is Vince going to do? He's been on the block this whole time. Like, use the position of power you had last week when you were HOH to have those conversations. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, Ava, if Ava wins power again next week, she's just going to straight up go at this point. She has a good relationship with Lauren, but probably Vince next to Lauren, and whoever else on the block. I think she has to know at this point if she wants to take a shot at Vince, which I feel like she does after last week, and then going, you know, through with that, how she's been talking about him lately. You gotta, you know, sacrifice this Lauren thing. It's not doing enough for her to be worth the risk of Lauren doing this again.
Yeah, it's like if Rachel is a wall yeller that's stuck inside the house, Ava is just like somebody on Twitter, like oh man, do you see how Vince clearly has final twos everywhere, but then like not has no influence on the house, and then Will is just somebody watching at home, like yeah they suck.
It's going to be so frustrating if Ava gets evicted and she's talking to Julie about, I knew that Vince was up to this and up to that, and he's the one that got me. And like, I hope Julie does say, you know, so what did you do about that? Did you try? Oh yeah, I talked to Will and that was it. Anybody else?
So let's talk about the nomination situation, the vote situation here for a moment, because with Mickey, Morgan, and Rylie on the block, as Keanu mentioned, the votes aren't there for Rylie because Rylie has Catherine, Keanu, Kelly, Lauren, and Vince, theoretically, to keep him over Mickey or Morgan. That's 5 votes. Theoretically, it would be Ashley, maybe Ava, Will, and then one of Mickey or Morgan, whichever one comes off the block, would all be votes against Rylie. So that would be a 5-4 vote, which is why Rachel is like, okay, hey, if I can get Keanu to vote with us, we have the votes. But Keanu is refusing to do so because he refuses to believe that Rylie was ever against him. So if Keanu's off the table, Kelly's refusing to do it because Rylie is her god, then where are these votes going to come from? It's not going to be Lauren and it's not going to be Catherine. That leaves Vince. Now, Vince makes it clear early in the day after the ceremony, his ideal outcome is Mickey leaving. He's already talking about like, okay, if Mickey is like delusionally confident about having the votes, even though she doesn't, can we convince her to throw the blockbuster so that because she knows she has the votes? He's thinking this because he's used to dealing with Keanu. Do I think there's any chance in hell Mickey's going to throw the blockbuster? No. But the fact that he wants that to happen, I think, is a pretty clear indication of what his ideal outcome is for the week, which is send Mickey out the door, keep both Rylie and Morgan. We talked about this on the Stockwatch Roundtable last night, that Morgan is a pretty key element to his game at this point. He can't really lock in with Rylie, Catherine, and Kelly because he's kind of at the bottom of that structure. And that's not great for him. To lose players like Morgan and then even potentially Keanu at some point wouldn't be amazing for him. So he definitely needs to keep Morgan in the game. But it's going to be really tough to vote against Rylie when Lauren said she would die if Rylie left because of her, and those are her people. And then he would lose, you know, like people like Keanu and Catherine potentially. So he'd need to either convince both Keanu and Lauren to go with him on that move, or just pray that Mickey loses the blockbuster and he can just vote out Mickey and everything's fine. Will everything be fine? Well, Morgan says she'd be done with Vince if he voted out Mickey, but I have a feeling that he'd be able to smooth that over. So that's really his ideal outcome. But the question then becomes, what will he decide to do if Mickey does win the blockbuster and it's Morgan versus Rylie, and the kind of sticky situation that he finds himself in terms of the vote? Riley's already telling people he's really confident he's got Vinny's vote. Morgan obviously feels really confident that she has his vote. He could very easily get caught, if these were better players, in this situation. If people started comparing notes, if people like Ava started talking to people like Morgan about how confident Rylie is about having Vinny's vote, that could be pretty freaking helpful. But you know, so what is he going to do? As of right now, you know what he's going to do. He's going to go to Rylie and say, I'm voting for you no matter what. And he's going to go to Morgan and say, I'm voting for you no matter what. But where Vince ends up landing here is something that we need to be paying attention to throughout the week.
Yes. And I do just have to say, if Vince does not choose Morgan after Morgan so specifically chose Vince over Zach, oh boy, will I don't even know. I don't even know how to finish that sentence. But if that happens, boy, will I be intrigued to hear every word that comes out of her mouth in an exit interview and for years to come about the situation. It does feel like, if I was to make the prediction right here and now, which, hey, why not? I think he would lean Rylie. I think he feels a lot more comfortable with that side, with especially Lauren being his close ally, Rylie and Kat seeing like they're firmly anti-Rachel resistance right now. So of course he wants to be on that side. Compared to the other group, Ashley, Ava, Will, like that's Rachel's people. Why would he ever want to side with Rachel's people? Even if they're voting for Morgan, who's his close ally, he has two number one allies. And if he has to choose between keeping Lauren happy and being on her firm side, which is getting more firm as the day goes on today, versus Morgan, who again, it might turn back into a Rachel number. It makes a lot of sense that he's going to go the way that he's going to go, but it's going to be brutal to watch Morgan realize when this happens. I don't know. Like, I don't know what it would take to sway him to convince to be convinced to keep Morgan at this point, if it's Morgan versus Rylie.
I mean, if we look at Vince historically, he has consistently chosen the path of least resistance. Whether or not that's good for his game, we saw that with the Adrian vote. We saw that with his HOH. And he is only willing to push, and even then, not as much as he really should. Like again, when your best move all season so far is, I got my number one ally to use the veto on me, and it was real close, that's pretty damning, right? Mm-hmm. And so what will Vince decide to do? My bet would be on, what are the people around him telling him to do? And if he has more people around him telling him that they want to keep Rylie, then I think he will keep Rylie over Morgan. To keep Morgan would mean potentially pissing off Lauren, Kelly, Keanu, Catherine, and I don't think he's willing to do that unless he can convince them otherwise, but I doubt he's going to be able to push super hard to convince them otherwise. People like Keanu, going to be pretty hard to convince. People like Lauren, I don't think is going to be super easily convinced to take out Rylie here in favor of Morgan, who she doesn't have a great relationship with. So, you know, again, unless they get on board, I don't think he will do it. I do not think Vince has the like strength to vote against his allies in order to do what's best for his game. I think he will keep Rylie, even if it means he's at the bottom of a structure. I think that's what Vince has shown us so far. I agree. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see how he handles this week, because we are talking about how Lauren handled everything leading up to this veto ceremony of being so wishy-washy. And I don't know if I'm going to use it. I am going to use it. I don't know if I'm going to use it. And that being a big part of the reason why Rachel especially is so mad at her, and Rachel is now going to be so willing to throw her under the bus going forward and be so against her, because now she feels like Lauren decided in the very last second to do what she did. Vince already has this reputation, especially run, you know, through the house by Rachel, talking about how he lies to her every single week. He lies about his vote and then he apologizes about it later. If he doesn't pick a side, you know, and let
the people on the side he's not choosing know at least by like a Wednesday, hey, Ashley, Ava, Will, I'm not going to vote for Mickey, Morgan if they stay. Of course, he's not going to do that. He's going to continue riding the middle as long as he possibly can. But if he doesn't do that, they're all going to be so pissed at him by the end of the week, by the time that the votes come in and it's time for a new HOH. I feel like a lot of them are going to be looking directly at him.
So we'll see. But Morgan, in the meantime, does continue to talk about Mickey in a negative way with people like Will and Ashley. She's talking about like how she's telling Will about how Mickey was mad about the Rylie renom when she actually thinks it was a good idea because that's what she was going to do to take out the showmance. She's also like upset that Mickey stole her M&M's thing.
Yeah.
That was my thing. That said, again, she says she would be pissed at Vince if he voted out Mickey. That would be such a betrayal. She'd be done with him. And Rylie is still her target here. So that is, a key part of this. Morgan, at this point, her number one ally is Vince. She wants Rylie out. She doesn't want Mickey to go. She still wants to work with Mickey, but she definitely has like the veil has lifted from her eyes. She sees Mickey more for what she is, and doesn't trust her nearly as much anymore, but certainly doesn't want her to go, especially over Rylie.
Yeah. All the while, just as we're still talking about, what could happen with this vote, the fact that Mickey is still so anti-Rachel, kind of wonder how much that comes into play if at a certain point, Rachel and you would think the Ashley, Ava, Will contingent would all be voting for Rylie as we just laid out, whether it's Rylie versus Morgan or Mickey. But at a certain point, if it keeps getting back to Rachel that Mickey is so anti her, does Rachel just say, look, let's just all get on the same page. Let's try to mend fences with Rylie and get Mickey out of here?
It's certainly possible, especially if the votes aren't there. Again, like I feel like Rachel throughout the night was just kind of like disappointed, and I think a little bit regretful for the decision that she made because she doesn't have the votes. And I think she kind of like was just down. She spent a lot of time just up in the HOH room, not talking to people. I don't know if she's going to get her head back in the game today and start talking more. She does eventually have a conversation with Rylie last night, which we'll talk about. But, it's certainly possible. Another thing that's possible is that votes like Lauren and Rylie and Catherine could also flip on Morgan against when it comes to Morgan and Mickey. Given that what they should know is that Morgan is against them and Mickey is not. Mickey is against Rachel and Morgan is not. And those things aren't secrets. Like, it's kind of wild that those people plan to vote out Mickey because that's not best for their games at all.
It's best for Vince's game, and that's what's going to matter for a lot of them.
I mean, I don't think they even see it that way. I think they think it's best for their games at the moment. Like Vince hasn't even really talked to them about taking Mickey out. They were the ones who are trying to convince Vince that they should take out Mickey. Like they are just dead set on Mickey because Mickey, I guess, has just been so annoying in the house that everyone wants to see her downfall. But at some point, they should kind of come around to the idea that like, wait a minute, Mickey is actually better for us than Morgan when Morgan's running around saying she doesn't plan to target Rachel and hanging out with Will and Ashley and Rachel a bunch. So that's something I would say also to watch out for, on top of another thing to watch out for, which is, let's say that we get Morgan versus Rylie on the block. Even if you do get Vince flipping to keep Morgan, it's possible that's not enough because it's still possible that Mickey could flip to keep Rylie over Morgan. That is not something that is out of the question at this point either. So again, keep all of this in mind. There's 2 full days of campaigning and all of that stuff to go. So still a lot to keep on top of.
Yeah, unpredictable players, and they just got this fresh set of nominations. Nobody predicted Rylie going up, so it really is going to, I think, take last night of sleep, a whole day today of discussions, more people putting their foot in their mouth, and it really could go any which way. So we're in for hopefully a fun couple of days, but probably still some frustrating ones.
Mm-hmm. So there's a last sort of sequence of events here in the night, which is that Keanu talks to Rachel again and comes up and he's just like, Rachel, I just really want to understand why. Like, why did you do this? And I will say again, like this conversation, even more so than the last one, is just like two hurt people who like it's like they should be together, but there's like a misunderstanding keeping them apart. You know what I mean? Like it's like a rom-com, I swear to you. And it's just like wow, like why did you do this, Rachel? I'm just trying to understand because I do trust you and I want to work with you. And it's Rachel, like this sucks so much. Like I'm downstairs and they want me to come after you now and they don't understand why I'm not. And like I just don't understand it. And this has been my worst day in here, and I was having so much fun the last few days. That was the best time I've had in this house with you the last few days, and now this has happened and I just need to understand, Rachel. And she's like, I don't know what to tell you, Keanu. I don't know what to tell you. He's like, oh, please, I just want to understand. I'm not blaming you. I'm not mad at you. I just need to understand why. She's like, Keanu, I don't know. You know, I thought it was the best game move. I don't know what you want me to say. Again, I think she's just hurt. She's like, I've already told you, you don't believe me. So F off. Like, I'm protecting my feelings here. And he's like, well, come on, like, just talk to me more. Like what is happening? And she's like, okay, you want me to say like walk you through every single decision? It's like, not every single one, just this one. And she's like, I've already told you, Rylie has lied to me multiple times in this house. I've tried to work with him for 5 weeks. He told me that he's not with you, that he's going against you, that he wants to take you out. I want to protect you. I am loyal to my allies. Like, I don't know what else to say. It's a big move. I am not going to take out Kelly. That's not a big move. I'm here to make big moves. Like, that's what's going on. And Keanu's like, oh, I mean, I don't believe that Rylie would do that. I don't think he's that stupid. And she's like, did you ask him? He's like, yeah. And he said, what, that it didn't happen? He's like, and I believe him. I mean, I believe you too. I believe both of you. She's like, wow. And they keep going back and forth. And he's like, Rachel, I just want this to work. And she's like, Keanu, I don't care. He's like, all right, fine. Well, I did, but it starts to walk away. And she's like, Keanu, I care. Of course I care. I'm saying I don't care if you need to go against me in this moment. You can do whatever you need to do for your game. I'm not telling you need to vote him out. I'm not telling you what you need to do for your game. I care about you, Keanu, but I don't care what you do in this spot. And he's like, Rachel, like, I just don't know why you did this. And they just keep going back and forth. And they just can't get anywhere because he just doesn't believe that Rylie would do that. And so eventually he's just like, I guess see you at some point, I guess, and leaves. And that's the end of it.
All he wanted, as far as I could tell from this conversation, was, on the surface, he's saying, you know, just give me a reason. But like deep down, I think he just really wanted to hear her say, I was wrong. You're right. We shouldn't have done this. Simple as that. I think you were right. I was wrong.
Again, it is the Rachel and Mickey conversation where Mickey should have just admitted that Jimmy wasn't bad and maybe she made a mistake. Again, that's what Keanu thinks this conversation is, and he needs Rachel to do that.
And it's not even close. Like, it's not even anything near that. And Rachel has tried in 7,000 ways to tell Keanu what she was thinking, give him some valid reasons that also involve him about how Rylie has been, you know, considering coming after him before. None of it's computing. And it's just, at this point, I would be just as defeated as Rachel is. It's like, there's no point. There's just nothing else to say. You're not hearing me. You think I'm crazy. You just, what else are we getting accomplished here? But come on, just tell me. Just tell me why. Tell me why you did it. There's nothing else to say. I've told you 1,000 times. You're throwing everything I say to the side as if I haven't actually told you. You're not hearing me. You're not believing me. No, but I believe you. I just don't believe that. They're not getting anywhere. Maybe after a fresh night of sleep, we can start somewhere fresh again, because obviously Keanu was pretty hot throughout the day today. Very in his emotions about the fact that his good friend, close ally, Rylie, who would never come after him, is now in danger, all at the hands of his really good, close ally, Rachel. But at some point, maybe he'll start to see the light. He won't. But Rachel can only hope.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough.
Yes. In this conversation, she also again tells Keanu that she told Lauren that Rylie would go up, and Lauren used the veto anyway. Keanu goes downstairs and he asks Lauren, he says, I believe you would tell me the truth. Did Rachel tell you that Rylie would go up? And she says, again, not really denying it, but basically saying, she said that she would consider all options. And he's like, I thought so. She's lying to me about that too. So, which is interesting. Now, keep this in mind. Rachel then talks to Catherine, has a long conversation, explains that Lauren knew that Rylie was going to go up on the block, and did it anyway. Then she talks to Rylie, has a long conversation. This one incredibly awkward as well. Long silences. A lot of Rylie being like, I've given you my whole heart, Rachel, and this is what you did with it. Because of things that have happened to me in my life, I have trouble trusting people. And so I feel hurt by what you did, and I trusted you, and I don't even know why you would think that I've done anything to you, because I don't even talk to you. And then again, long silences. He's later going to describe this as like, yeah, she was like, I'm sorry. It was like a little child who knew they did something wrong talking to their parent. That's what she was like to me.
There's a feature. No, there's a feature when you go to edit a podcast that is called like truncate silence, where you can take a long period of audio and get rid of the gaps of silence and narrow it down to what you actually want it to be. And so this 30-40 minute conversation, if you took out the silence of it, I think it comes down to about a 5-minute conversation. So yeah, we're looking at around 20 to 30 plus minutes of just silence as they were looking at each other. Rachel like doing her Rachel stare straight into Rylie, so waiting for him to say more. And when he goes downstairs to like retell all of this, he's like, "Oh yeah, we were like just sitting there and it was intense." But he kind of like has this air about him that like he feels like he got one over on her by not giving in to the awkwardness of it all.
Yeah. Now, while this conversation is happening, and I can't stress enough how awkward and long the silences were, Lauren is downstairs talking to Catherine, who also is like, yeah, right, Rachel's saying that you knew that Rylie would go up on the block. And after a day of denying this, basically, Lauren says, okay, I do have to tell you something. I want to be totally honest with you, like my best friend in the house. She did tell me that Rylie would go up on the block, but I thought she was bluffing. I didn't think she would really do it. And you can see there's a pretty visceral reaction from Catherine. Like, are you, wait, what? Okay.
I mean, the default is that Rachel's lying, right? Everybody assumes that Rachel's lying. So Kat was like going to believe Lauren, and then Lauren just folded.
Kind of wild. Now this is part of it. And because during the Rachel Catherine conversation, Rachel was saying things like, we can pull Lauren in here and have a conversation, the three of us. And when that happened, I had my eyes peeled because I said I streamed yesterday after the ceremony, and I was saying, if Rachel wants the truth to come out, all she needs to do is address this publicly, because I guarantee you Lauren will crumble under the pressure of being asked publicly about something that is a lie. She just does not have it in her to lie in a spot like that. And so I do think that there's a good chance this was likely going to come out one way or the other. The only thing is that, like, if it had happened that way, Lauren probably would have been able to sell, like, oh, Rachel bullied me into admitting my lie, and everyone still would have been mad at Rachel. As we see in this conversation, they're still mad at Rachel. But basically, she admits this, and I really don't think she should have, honestly. But she admits to it to Catherine, who's like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I really wish that you had made another decision. Like, wish you had, like, maybe consulted us more about that if you had known that that Rylie was potentially going to go up. Like, but listen, I'm with you. You're still my best friend in this house. And so they have that conversation. Then Rylie comes down and he retells his conversation with Rachel, saying that she's like a child and he's her parent. And Catherine's like, yeah, and apparently, Lauren did know. She was told that you were going to go up, but she didn't believe it. It wasn't like super. And Catherine kind of tries to like soften this blow a little bit, clearly defending Lauren while also kind of being like, yeah, she knew. And again, you can see Rylie being like, what? But Rachel's ultimately the liar. She's the one that had this plan from the start. She just trapped Lauren into potentially using this last minute, all of this stuff, right? That's still the explanation.
Lying from the get-go about all of this, when it was always going to be a possibility that Rachel revealed this information, just does not seem worthwhile. I understand that Lauren is afraid of her own shadow and thus is going to be afraid of her own allies. But if the information is correct, that she was told that it could be Rylie, maybe that it would be Rylie. And she's telling all these people throughout the day that, no, I didn't know, she was exploring all the options, never once admits that Rylie was specifically mentioned by Rachel. Of course, it's going to come out later. Like, she just refuses to stand on the decisions that she made, and even like come to Catherine here and not just say like, oh yeah, she mentioned Rylie, but say, look, I had to save Vince, like put that first and say it had nothing to do with anybody else besides I just lost my really close ally in Zach last week, as she kind of alludes to at times. I couldn't let it happen again with Vince. You have Rylie, I have Vince. I needed to make sure my person stayed. I'm so sorry. We have the votes for Rylie. I would understand if you did this, if Rylie was on the block and you saved him and Vince went up, but it's just none of that. It's not even a little bit of rationale mixed in here. It's just, whoops, you caught me. Don't be mad, please.
I mean, the interesting thing here is, like, does this information get out? Does Catherine or Rylie, do they tell anybody? Because again, Keanu thinks that Rachel lied about what Lauren knew, and because he doesn't believe that Lauren would lie. And so if he finds out that Lauren did lie to his face, what does that mean for him in this whole situation with Rachel? I don't think it makes him distrust Rylie anymore, but it's definitely something. And also, like, what does that mean? How much did Vince know is another question. I don't think that there's any indication that Vince could have known, but they did have that. He did know. And then it's like, does Kelly find out? I think Kelly would be mad at Lauren for this, because again, she'd be more mad at Rachel. That's not going to change, but it definitely could damage some of Lauren's relationships, especially given that she has already lied about it to multiple people. There are people in this game, many people in this game, that don't think Lauren is capable of lying. And so the fact that she has been caught in a pretty important one is definitely not great for her. So we'll see what comes of all of that on top of everything else in the house as we move toward the eviction. But that is mostly the day. Matt, anything else that you wanted to bring up?
Just Ashley at the end of the night goes into the pantry when Rylie and Kat are in there. And Ashley, who like couldn't care less about the two of them, she just goes in there all like happy and joyous. I was talking about Vince in this perspective earlier of like he's just so happy throughout the day because now he's not in danger anymore. Ashley got what she wanted now. She wanted either Rylie or Kat or both of them to be on the block this week, and now one of them is. And Ashley is not hiding it whatsoever that she is very excited at the idea of Rylie going home. But she like catches them in there. Of course, like they've had a tough day. Just like, I just want you guys to know, like, I'm like totally like, not against you guys. I feel so bad for you. I just wanted to give you guys space. But she's like laughing the whole time that this conversation is happening. Just an interesting watch where the words that are coming out of her mouth of like, I care about you did not match up with the way that she was saying the words. And she wasn't the biggest player in the day today, but I'll be interested to see how much she does push for Rylie, maybe to even other people in that other side that's forming right now, the Kat Lauren side, obviously not to Kat, but just to other people over there to try to get Rylie out now that she has a chance of getting what she wanted. But what a day, what players we have on our hands here. It's insane. And we're halfway done.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is what we have for you today then. Of course, if you want to check out my book, Behind the Mirror, you can pre-order it at taranarmstrong.com. You can also check out my Patreon, where I'm doing some Australian Survivor versus the World content. And I'll, of course, be back tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, to update you on everything that happens today on the Big Brother 27 live feeds. You can check out the roundtable from last night. You can check out the slop for patrons tonight. Matt, anything else?
Yeah, check me out on the Free Agents podcast talking about the challenge with Brian Scally, and the Diary Room podcast talking Big Brother with Amon Adwin every single week. We had Chelsea on last week, Big Brother 26 champion, of course, and BB Can legend Anthony Douglas joined us this week. So we got to catch up with, I know, one of your favorites, Dougie, and fun conversation. 6 more players came through the podcast and 3 left, and always a fun time over there. But that's all for me.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us here today, and I will see all of you next time.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.